podcast, guys. Another interview with one and only Hep, an amazing artist here in the 254 and basically all over the world. And he's going to introduce herself before we basically talk about the fact that we're here.
Yeah. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you, E, the lovely E. My name is Hep. H is the name, you know what's happening. And I think it would be a nice place to start with the name because I feel like I have a story behind that.
Okay.
By the way, for those who don't know, the full version of it is Heppenstall.
Say that again?
Heppenstall.
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 That's
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah, that's the full name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the first time I went to a studio, by the way, I'm a recording artist. I am also an aspiring film director and a photographer. And I think we'll get to talk about that much later. It's all in the spirit of introduction, so I'm building this CV with you guys. Bear with me. Yeah, so back to the name. I think I was actually making my first track called End of the Month.
Okay.
Yeah, the song is about working in a restaurant and having targets that need to be met by the end of the month, failure to which you will be in the relegation.
Right.
And you might not make it to the next cycle of the shift. And that can be a little bit oppressing, depressing, challenging, and motivating in a certain way. It made me write a song anyway.
Okay.
So I went to this studio, laid my raps, and these guys were really interested in the song because it was a story.
Yeah.
And I remember them asking what my name is, and I gave them my full name. So it was like, cool stage name.
Okay.
So
they started with the stage name? Okay. It kind of sounds like it.
It does, but then let me tell you, get it from me. Guys have called me hepatitis more than I have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's not something. So I always find a way to get it easier for you to roll it out of your mouth. Yeah. So H is the name, and I'm happy to be here at What We Define podcast.
That's what's up.
And in the spirit of introducing ourselves, I think there's no better way to start the topic on identity. So over to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Somewhere to Define podcast is about empowering, uplifting an individual in regards to who they are. That's why I started it in regards to identity first, because I believe in life, or basically when you start something, if you don't know who you are, you basically don't know where you're going. You will not have a plan in regards to what you want to do and where you're going. And basically about a lot more about mental health awareness. But today we'll be talking about even basically the fact that identity is a very unique word to basically understand, coming back to who you are, and also talking about his album. His music, guys, is amazing, very empowering and uplifting. And so I was like, you know what? I need this guy on my podcast.
That's right. That's how I was roped in here. Yeah. We'll probably save that for another episode.
Right, definitely.
How the whole meeting happened. But so on matters identity, I think I've always identified with rap music.
Okay.
I listen to different genres of music.
Okay.
And once in a while, I find myself gravitating to rock. What do you call it? Rumba.
Okay.
Even our own, like Gengetone. What's this that Sauti Soul have going on with them? Benga or something? Something of the sort. Like the Soul Generation sound. They're all awesome art projects. And in and of themselves can be nice, I can say, like fodder for creativity. Okay. So when you listen to all these different ways that people express their feelings, people express their opinions, I think the best artist, therefore, would be he who borrows from all these people and this wealth of knowledge and food. Yeah. But beyond that, rap has always been that anchor for me because I like how bold rappers are and how they're not afraid to talk about things that are current, that are oppressive, some things that cannot. Yeah, so I find myself going back to rap because there's something about the genre that resonates with, I would say, being authentic, being yourself, a little bit of revolution in it, freedom kind of feeling with it, because it's the one art form that a myriad of styles can be experimented on.
Yeah.
And you can come in with your own style, but borrow from the same idea of boom bap, 8 bars, and storytelling, and that kind of the kind of writing that. And it's also the most relevant art form there is right now. You never hear of rock beefs.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you only hear of rap beefs.
Like never.
Yeah, these are grown men writing poems at each other.
Yeah.
Scathingly.
Right.
You know how relevant that is?
I saw that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have politicians who are trying to look cool to rap. But we're not doing it for the coolness of it. Of course, it comes with the coolness when you're able to speak your mind out so clearly.
I agree.
In a 2-minute space with a beat.
I agree.
Be rhythmic, melodic, entertaining, and also educating at the same time. I think those are the hallmarks of rap that kind of drew me to the art form.
Right. I've heard, before you continue, I've heard of some rap artists, and it kind of hits you like, oh my god, this guy's trying to pour his heart on about something or about his experience. And it's very beautiful to hear. Like you feel like you're connecting with this person, and it's the only way they can really pour their heart out in regards to whatever they want to talk about through rap music.
Yeah.
And you do that so well. I've heard a couple of your songs and they're really empowering, honestly.
Thank you.
I feel in tune with what you're trying to communicate.
Thank you.
Very empowering, like kind of a wake-up call in regards to different venues that you're singing into or singing about. Yeah.
What's your favorite song?
Emirati?
Yeah, well, I made a joke about that name in the listening party I had a week ago, 29. It's the first song of the album.
It is the first song.
It's called Ebirecha.
Oh yeah, guys.
Exactly. The B is like, you're just saying it like, and it's kissy for bad shit crazy.
Right.
Can I cuss?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Of course, it's a very safe space. Be yourself.
I think to me it was more of a state of mind. When people use it, they say Ebirecha. This is just shit you don't want to get involved in.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's kind of that. And I talk about different things that give me the feeling of that. And throughout the whole, if you let me, this might be a tiny guest podcast. I don't want to say.
No, definitely.
But I can
do that.
We can break down the bars and say, the songs, and especially the part where you resonate with is "We Are the Remnants."
Love that part.
And I go ahead and say, "Hope imebaki kwa hii dunia this end time."
Hey.
Because it truly is. We're living at the twilight zone. If you look at things, I don't know how you call it. People might say a comet will come and hit the earth. The Son of Man will show up again. Maybe civilization will descend into anarchy. Whatever you call it, we've seen the hallmarks. We're seeing it everywhere. People losing faith in governments and everything pointing to an eventual end that doesn't seem so right. Now, since that is the case, we as the remnants, how are we supposed to carry ourselves? We're the hope that's left here. I say that in the song. The only mistake is if you don't take a chance, okay?
That's it.
Yeah, you have to take a chance. You have to take a shot at yourself, at what you believe in. Take a shot at starting a business. Take a shot at leading. Take a shot at
something.
Yeah, that's it. That's you putting your best foot forward.
It is the greatest time to be alive, as I always say. And before you continue, you talked about, or you mentioned the word revolution.
Yeah, I did.
When you're talking right now, what does that mean to you? And the fact that it is actually happening right now. And the fact that we are losing hope in the government. And I believe that was supposed to happen because...
Supposed to happen?
Yeah. It was supposed to happen.
Why would you say it was supposed to happen?
Because I believe it's just a time for a new regime in regards to everything. All sectors, socially, politically, economically. Everything, I feel like it's just time for new, better, like a new change to come in, but with a lot of genuinity in it, with people who can see how the government can be better, Africa can be better, the music industry can be better, and how people who basically have the heart and the passion to basically push that agenda will basically be pushed to be a part of it.
I see.
Right.
Yes.
Because it's something actually you cannot dismiss. The guys, as in the guy who's been a part of the protest, the guy that you feel like, I feel I should do something about this, I should change the way I do this. I feel like it's a tune just telling you change is on the horizon and you cannot help it. And the ones who are basically mostly into it that much is because I feel like I'm gonna call them the chosen ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe everybody's chosen, but I feel like many are called, but few are chosen. In regards to many are called, but they won't have the confidence to basically push through. But the chosen ones, regardless, they're gonna push through.
I just need to ask on that question. I know you asked me a question about what I think about revolution, but I answer questions through asking questions, and I think that will only even get us a better conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think about he who chooses and whether we fall on their criteria? Because it's enough to say that many are called, but a few are chosen.
Yeah.
What's the criteria that goes into choosing? Is it something you tell yourself that I'm fit enough to be chosen? And when do you know that this is the right voice to follow and not maybe something that is from an arrogant place? Because oftentimes we can go headstrong with something and we find out that we've lost so much and we failed terribly.
Right.
Maybe because we did not take the relevant steps.
Right.
Or maybe we never quite listened to the advice other people had. So I get the idea of the calling.
Yeah.
So what is the calling? I ask myself. I look around my spheres of life.
Okay.
I am a brother. I am a dad. I am. I'm an employee somewhere.
Yes.
I'm a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. And the calling would be, first of all, I need to be a good person around those spheres.
That's
right. So not nice, but good enough to help, advise, and be there when needed.
I agree.
While I might fail to do that, I guess the chosen ones are those who consistently do it, regardless of the weather and what changes. And there must be something that is very unique with them. But there's also a fear that I'm trying to bring up that we can't all go ahead with something because there's the chosen person aspect to it. The feeling that it's me, I'm the one. You know, like the movie Matrix, Neo, and they show him as a superhero. Sometimes you can get to your head when you get the feeling that you're the chosen one. But chosen to do what? I could say. Yes, that's the question. Yeah. So maybe you can answer.
Oh my God. I believe that's why it goes back to self-awareness and identity. Many, as you've said, they have it in their head, I'm chosen, the egocentric factor about it. But I believe it's always a process, and the fact that first it comes back to understanding, like, you have to be a good person around the people who are very close to you. Yeah. Right? Whenever they need you and you feel a need, I have a need in your heart. Sometimes you cannot even explain it. To just be there, to just help, to just advise and speak out where nobody's speaking about anything that is going wrong. And you just have this confidence to just be there for the underdogs. And people feel like they cannot really talk about whatever, basically voice whatever wrong that is happening. And I feel when you go back to understanding or walking in this journey of self-awareness and identity, asking questions, it's okay. Whoever you're going to ask questions, that's okay. It's good to ask questions.
It's part of knowing.
Right? Yeah. And I believe with that, coming back to identity, it's a main factor. Like, why am I here? Why am I in this? I always question everything, honestly. I question people coming into my life. I question the reason why I'm working somewhere. What I can do better there, right? What impact I should leave or what part I should play, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always get the answers, honestly.
I think if you open up yourself to that, you eventually arrive at the answers. Genuinely. Yes. Because that is very important. I think we don't often ask ourselves enough questions.
I agree.
And that's why sometimes you get a crisis, right? Because you need to kind of sit. Sometimes it requires you to be in a quiet room, all alone by yourself. At times we get to do this exercise when we're in lowest.
Right.
And I don't think that's the best, but it's the most important. So that you get to confront what it is that you want to sweep under. Those questions that you don't want to answer because maybe you have something that's working for you.
Yeah.
And this could also mean you're doing a job that you don't like. You're given a role that you don't resonate with.
Yeah.
You are given responsibility that after a while you realize, well, while it looked lucrative, it's not what resonates with maybe my values.
Thank you.
Because we all have values, even though you cannot mention them. There's a set of code you operate with that gives you the green light to do or not to do, to be or not to be.
I agree.
Yeah, so but then when you ask these questions, you get to peel off the layers and get to see who the real you is. Yeah, so you ask yourself, do I really like doing this?
Right.
Do I even like being with these people? Right. There's this question a friend of mine asked, who told me to ask myself.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, how many friends do you have? Just ask yourself genuinely and make an attempt to count them.
Right.
Of course, people have different metrics on friendships that varies from person to person. What you define as a friend might not be the same as what I define as a friend. Right? But then even with your definition, can you count 5 in one palm?
Right? Like, however you understand
it doesn't have to be even that they can fit in a palm.
Yeah.
Can you even count that one person who you can say this is a... Can you answer that question with confidence?
Yeah.
And live your life freely? Because that, I think, what they say about the truth that shall set you free.
Okay.
Even the truth in knowing you have no friends will set you free in a way how you're supposed to live your life. Don't live as though you have people you can depend on when they're not even there. That's the freedom. You now know them.
I agree.
So it's again back to identity, self-worth, because all these things just tie together to see who you really are and how you can best benefit the environment.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Amazing conversation. Let's go back to the fact that we're talking about digress to the protest that is happening right now.
The protest.
Yeah, and also the fact that it's so important for Africans to basically go back into history and understand who we were before colonization.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, we're dialing the clock.
We were powerful. We were civilized. We were the greatest. We still are. But the fact that we were fed a lot of information and knowledge that was not true, which made us... The mind is a very powerful weapon. The mind is everything. I always say your feet cannot take you where your mind has never been. And that's where I believe we were defeated, in the mind. You know, Africans are naturally nice, caring people. But I believe when the colonizers came in and they saw what we had, Africa being the greatest continent of all time, but now mention Africa to anybody else. There's a notion about it.
There is. And wow, I don't think we're ready to have this discussion because it goes way back. And I also feel like there is...
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It says something that we did not travel a lot out of our continent. I have a hypothesis.
Okay.
It's called Cradle of Mankind for a reason. We had everything we needed. It's like a paradise.
Right.
So quickly, a paradise can become a prison. And that's what happened in colonization.
Right.
Now, I could be taken out of context here because I know we're dealing with lots of trauma.
So true.
Yes. But you don't have the same amount of grace from someone who's faced with problems, plagued with problems and consistent maladies and challenges, as that person who's just in a warm heart, living their best life. Not so far away, there is a great source of food and minerals that they don't even know the use of it. Like you had to have a problem with cold to figure out electricity to warm up a house. So that you figure out what's the best element that can withstand heat at 1,000 degrees. Now that is information you arrive at from a different source of motivation, and that is primal motivation. It's knowing you're going to die. It's knowing you're going to freeze up. Now, our very blessing is our own cars, and you can look at the situation even in Congo. It is time after time. It's diamonds, right? Right now, it's cobalt. Cobalt is like the key mineral that powers our devices. Your day doesn't start without cobalt. You have a phone that is powered by it. These cars that move around, all this technology with the cards and everything that you're paying, all that is connected to a grid that runs on a high-powered battery. In a way, someone is paying a hefty price in Congo for us guys to buy the next iPhone 15. It's nice. And I know, as I said, I put a disclaimer earlier, I'll be taken out of context because But it's if you look up, you'll find countless podcasts on this very topic about the situation. But the very blessing that we have is the cars. Now, how can we help change the situation from bad to us? How can we say that since we are well endowed, we understand we attract all sorts of competition and all sorts of people, right? How can we best navigate the situation and own some piece of what is ours? Thing is, it's hard because even Africa itself is very much segmented. We cannot speak one language together.
That's okay.
Even look at how we vote. Like we are plagued with so much and we are blessed with so much. Despite all this fractured let's say community that we have as Africa, we're still very much warm and welcoming. Despite the colonization, they came and they took cocoa, rubber, and all that. Now they are back again for more cobalt, oil, our culture now. Now they want to come and be part of it. They can because they've already figured it out on themselves. They're probably light years away of it, but we have something in us. Even you can't mention music without mentioning Africa.
Yes, so true.
Drums is really something that started here. So how do we manage a resource that's well endowed? Or do we also pillage and pilferage and use our own people to gain out for our own greedy needs? So it's like I said, we're not even ready to have this discussion. But understanding that with such wealth, with such power comes much responsibility is the first step. So, and getting leaders who understand that, then stand for something like that. And even challenge. The problem is I think we forget if you plant a tree, you're not going to be the guy who enjoys the fruits or the shade. So you want revolution and its fruits immediately, it's not going to happen.
Thank you.
You need to be that leader who says, fine, I'm okay dying for a cause. And I know very many people cannot say this. Even I'm saying this on record. I know someone will come later on and say, hey, this is a podcast of you saying you're willing to die. But again, it takes a certain amount of sacrifice for us to see that future that we want.
I agree.
And it has to come from a point of a genuine point.
Thank you. And I feel like the time guys are asking what's next. Maybe it's the anxiety and the fear, but you don't actually have to ask what's next. Just be consistent. And you said something really powerful right now in regards to it will take some years also for a change to come. But the fact that we started it, let's not back down because we've seen that we can have a better government. We've seen like the voice of the people is the power. Unity is everything. I always call it, Dr. Ariana Chewambori she talks about the fact that an Africa will basically have one common goal to fight for. That's when Africa will be revolutionized. We see the fact that also Ibrahim Traore, the one who's leading Burkina Faso right now, and he's doing great.
Oh yeah, that young leader.
No, we're not exporting any minerals outside this country.
I'm really rooting for him, and I can't wait to see how it's done. Yeah, it's possible.
It's happening.
And in a way, that answers my question on revolution. I think it's happening.
It is happening.
And I think whenever you make the first step, it's more expensive to look back.
Thank you.
Yeah, once you've taken that step, and that could be. Revolution doesn't have to be nationwide, and we while discussing the protest, I think we can talk about revolution as it cuts across different aspects in our lives. And you probably, even your house might need a revolution,
Right.
a facelift. Get that
Let's
couch
talk
out.
about that. Yes, please just take that.
Yeah, buy some
out
new
of the
plates or
house.
something.
Right?
Yeah, I think.
Redesign
You
your
might
house.
need a revolution. Go get a haircut, get a job
Yes,
that
we
you've been.
do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that.
the change.
New hairstyle,
Yeah.
new outfits in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
wardrobe.
yeah.
And after that, you always feel like lighter.
You do.
You feel like you're someone different.
Yeah.
Very confident.
Exactly.
So proud of your house and you get that new couch.
But you also realize
Yeah.
you will need to adopt the responsibility of maintaining it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's not throw fancy words and all nice words about revolution and saying it's good without and forget the working aspect.
That's so true.
You just have to.
Yeah.
We have to work together, and that's it. So now that our best foot is forward, even like let's talk about also. Let me just shed some light also in the music industry.
Sure.
Like, it's amazing the time we live in that we have the internet and how we can put our product out there, put ourselves out there at such fast rate and get the people that our audiences. But it also comes with a challenge. The old ways of building a community are still tried and tested and true.
Okay.
And I think in the industry, I like how I've seen certain projects come up. Like, I would say I've seen Fanisi projects. Okay. I've seen projects at Gecko Cafe, at BL254 District that bring artists who are, we can call them underground, right? Yeah. To share a stage and show the world what they have. Right. So that's also part of it. Building a community is reaching out to the person who has a similar interest as yours. Yeah. Same language, same tribe, and building that community. Yeah. And you can't, while you can make changes that are revolutionary in your life on an individual level, it needs to cascade to a whole. Let there be people who are also benefiting from the change and the revolution. And we can only do that through what you said, unity. So I felt like I needed to weigh in on that, and the art scene here in Kenya suffers a lot from disunity than anything else. Okay. Yeah. I feel Let's talk about that. Yeah. I feel like there's that. I feel like even creatives themselves set up a high bar for themselves. While we have people who build the ground up with guys, we always start from humble beginnings with everyone, but we don't have the patience to see the project through. And I was having this conversation with Talks actually. Right. All these Fortune 500 companies, the Apples, the Microsofts, they can trace their stories back to a garage somewhere with kids and friends, right? Yes. And this was a community. It was, you're good at what you do. Yes, let's take it through the harsh time. Right. The building of the product, the name, the brand. Yeah. Because once people see the commitment and the momentum, they'll catch on. Consistency. Yeah. And I feel it's played because every producer, every artist sees themselves in a way, as already established, like up
the
there.
Other version of themselves. I always say like every day there's always another version in you that you see the person who you want to be. Yeah. You know? So every day you should be working towards kind of like evolving to the best version of yourself. Because you can see how or him, and you know how they should look like, act, and whatever what they need to put into whatever they want to manifest. Yeah. But the factor is the gap between now you, the current you,
and the future you,
and the best version you want to evolve. Exactly. And most of us don't put in the work.
That distance is the work.
Actually, it brings us back to what you've said. Will you be responsible enough to keep up with the new revolutionized you or government?
Now will you wreck it? You run it to the ground. Yeah. And who will you blame? And also, that's also another aspect of self-worth, knowing that yourself, in and of itself, let me call it matter. Okay. It has shape and it has weight and it occupies shape, right? And that in and of itself becomes a luggage. I don't want to call it a baggage, but half the time we feel there's a baggage. Right. You as yourself. That's why people are easily lost in identity. It's, I don't like this baggage that I'm carrying. Right now, right? I want to carry a different baggage that is not mine. But you forget, it's not gone anywhere. It's tied to your leg. So you're dragging it back here. Yeah. You need to confront it, hold that purse if it's a purse. Put it nicely somewhere. Yes. If it's a backpack, go ahead and throw the backpack on your back. And I think it's funny. It also lends itself to the analogy of carrying your cross. Your cross is all these things that don't seem good about you, that
Right.
are quirks and everything else,
Yeah.
but they're who you are. Okay? Yeah, I'm loud, I'm this tall, like I have this, I probably have this deformity here and there, or something that might be looked at as an inadequacy, but it is that separates me from the flock or fold and makes me stand out.
Right.
We need to be able to adapt that responsibility of carrying that self-worth
confidently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, there's ways you can come off that are not very welcomed by other people, but provided you've not been rude.
Yeah.
And disrespectful.
Yeah.
You're always going to rub shoulders because there are people who don't see it the way you do.
That's a fact.
But you need to carry it with that. Carry it with ease.
Yeah.
Be that person.
People will understand you and they'll take you for who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all also have an understanding of who we are. As you said, we have flaws. We have the way we do things that we feel like sometimes might drive up or not sit right with somebody because also upbringing, But the fact that you talked about everything you talked about right now, basically wrapping it all up, you've talked about revolution. But first, I believe you started with the what's happening in Africa and the government. But you're like, what about an individual revolution, right?
Yes.
About maybe you need to change something in your house, maybe get a new hairstyle or cut some people off because there's this version in you want to see manifest.
Yeah.
But we understand you have to basically sacrifice a lot. And many people, most of us, it's like work, which is work, you don't want to sacrifice.
Yeah, no.
Okay, no, I need to save this money for this, but I've seen something, you're like, but understanding you always be in the same rut if you don't make any changes. You cannot do the same thing every day expecting like a different result.
Einstein said that.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. You have an Einstein quote all this while?
In me. Oh my gosh. Hey.
Yeah. He is also a rule breaker. Yeah. Because he looked at things and he said, hold on, maybe we are looking at time differently.
Yeah.
And he weaved up the whole idea of time and space and energy. E is equals to mc squared. His groundbreaking discoveries helped put together the atomic bomb.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of feels like you actually arrive at that person you want to be.
Yeah.
And what you realize quickly is this person is very dangerous.
Okay.
They are capable of bringing anything they perceive and they see to life. That could be complete peace and bliss or torture and torment. That's why you see, people rise up to positions and their regime becomes a reflection of what they think life is, their reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you need to be very careful about that. So don't manifest something that you probably think. That's why you need to be very careful with what you're getting into. Read the fine print. Read the fine print. Don't have any surprises.
Right.
And if there are surprises, let them be moments where you learn lessons.
Right.
And keep a note of that.
And it's okay to always say it's okay to make mistakes. It's fine. Basically allow anybody to make you feel like no. You should basically own your mistakes.
Yes.
So confidently they're yours. And they've made you to be the person you are today. Understanding the fact that you're learning from your mistakes and not repeating them.
Yeah.
But you should own them very proudly because it made me the person and the girl that I am today, or the man that I am today.
My God, that's just so. You know what? That's the point I wanted to make about blame, self-worth, the baggage being part of the blame of the self-worth that you have. It's like battle scars. You're gonna wear them with pride and don't try and hide them up, because it will be like you need to see the other guy. If you've seen this scar, you need to see the other guy. I left with a scar. Now ask yourself what the other guy left with. And I also have a song called "Blame" on the album. So I've gone through a terrible time of work, and then I just called Ezekiel in the studio and I say on the mic. and it's about that. It's about me staring at the abyss and
Yeah.
seeing everything that I've swept under the rug come back at me. Also, the conditions of this capitalist society. Like, we have to do what we have to do. Of course, yeah. Because lights have to be on.
Yeah.
Babies gotta eat. I need to dress the things I need to do, like that need money. And the goal is that what I like doing generates enough income so that I do it at the highest level. But in the meantime, I don't mind putting myself out there and gaining some discipline and exposure.
Yeah.
A little bit of exposure and work ethic.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, that thought process, and also the understanding that you have where you are now and what's happening around you. People don't have that.
I'm surprised.
Why are you surprised? Like being comfortable and also understanding, you know, this is the season that I'm at now. I'm learning about discipline.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about work ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things you need to grab because in the next season of your life,
it's gonna depend on that. Yeah. You're really going to look back and say, I'm glad I wasn't asleep during the class. Yeah, I learned a thing or two. Yeah.
And that's the fact that you're talking about questioning everything and everywhere, not in a scary way, but the fact that you want to understand.
Yes.
Am I learning? Am I being led? Am I giving? Am I here to give or to receive or to impact? And you basically be waking up every day being a very intentional day.
Yeah. You have your mind focused on something.
Yeah.
You won't take no for an answer unless, well, do you take no for answers? Is that a mentality you have around? Is that something you expect? Is that something you go in an interview, in a
yes.
You have that at the back of your mind, so you expect no's as well.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give it my best.
Okay. I see the go-getter attitude. Yeah.
I'll give it my best.
Okay.
And if it's a no, it was just not meant for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many no's have you gone through? Do you keep a count?
Oh my god. Maybe some couple of years back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Career-wise, right?
Career-wise, yeah. Not really much, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But also, life itself gives you no's.
Of course.
Yeah.
With life, it's like a lot.
Oh yeah. Every other time.
It's a lot. Like no.
Even a network problem could be a no.
Yes.
Like you really want to get through to someone, but no.
Right now, honestly.
No, just when I need them.
Right. And I feel like we got to the point where we talk about the fact that you're like, at that moment, you're so upset. It's not working. Nothing is making sense. You're trying to call these people like Kenya Power.
Yes.
You know, maybe life problem. Not even maybe that's your own line.
It's quite annoying, actually. Yeah.
And you're upset. You're like, you have to plug in your electronics. But I was thinking about that because it happened to me a while back. Like maybe, patience. Asking yourself, why is it happening right now?
Why now?
But instead of pushing and forcing, you get frustrated, you become super upset.
Yes.
And it makes you feel some type of energy.
Really
which
bad.
You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, it's
exhausting,
okay.
Actually.
Maybe it's time for me to meditate.
Take things slow.
Yeah.
Take a pause. Take it slow, never look back. I say that.
You said that.
Exactly, yeah.
Also about the revolution. It's so hard to look back.
Yeah. It's more expensive to look back. Let me tell you.
It's more expensive to look back, guys.
Yeah.
Never look back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's uncharted lands out there. Just think of the endless possibilities that lie ahead of you, and let that be the shining beam that leads you to greater lands. You can decide when to stop, and also fate can decide when to stop for you. You know, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
Yeah.
And part of having a good time is having a fulfilled life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Fulfilled life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be short, but it's fulfilled.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about that yesterday. It's not the years or the number of years that you live, but how you lived in those years.
Yeah. It's not the number of years, it's the number of...
It's how you lived in those years.
I think,
there's a way they say
a quote they say. Yeah. It just lends to how the
It's
quality
not how
of
many
it.
years
Yes,
you
the quality of
lead,
it.
but how you lead in those years.
Yeah. But whew, I know no one is ever ready to go. There's no way you're telling me it'll be you're there on the deathbed.
Look at you.
And then you're saying, it's not the number of years. You're there wondering why now? Why now? Because there's always something that you are probably going to do.
Really?
This is what I think, because we always
Are you sure? Someone is thinking about that at that time?
No one treats death, and that's why it's very sad.
Okay.
As an unpaid leave,
okay.
or a notice. Mm-hmm. Life doesn't give you a notice and tells you in the next 72 hours you're going to and get your affairs in order. Right. No, that's why when it comes, it's the one thing that no human being is prepared of.
That's a fact.
Yeah. And so I'm just saying, I'm gonna be honest.
No way.
I mean, when it comes to that, I hope I don't. When it comes to that, I hope I'm not the guy that looks back and say, I don't want to die. I hope I'm the guy who says, I count the blessings in the years I got.
I'll be like, it was a great time to be alive, guys.
Yeah.
Because because you understand, you know what, you gave it your all, you did it your best, and you are impactful in however guys can remember.
Well, yeah. That's now the quality in it. Yeah, it was. It's like wasabi. Yeah, small but very, very, very potent.
Yeah.
Really gets there. But yeah, anyway, some people live their life that way. Some people just grow slow like trees. And they become a monumental tree, because a tree can also grow to the tallest height, and people will be like, look at this. I wonder how long it's been.
I know.
Yeah. So I guess let's not compare each other's times. Some people just come and pass away quite fast. Whoever the brightest stars burns the fastest.
Yeah.
And there are people who just grow into it. And they have a much better older year.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like as we maybe wrap it up and before we wind up, we talked about, right now you said we should not compare our times with anybody else's. Everybody has their time, and I feel it starts with you knowing that.
Yeah.
Being okay with that.
Yes.
And understanding, you know what, this is my part. Yeah. And I'll be patient with myself.
Yes.
I'll give myself grace in regards to this journey. Whatever I need to learn, it's step by step. But we have a lot of people who force everything because they do not have the understanding.
Oh yeah.
That everybody has their time. It's an individual journey.
It's good that you say the word understanding. But keep going.
Yeah. So that messes it all up for them, because they try and push. They're not being still. They haven't gone to, or basically gone to the understanding or a realization of self-awareness, identity. But it's all about the face front.
Yeah,
and that's why people really get frustrated. They kind of like fall back into drugs, and
it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
Because there's that lack of connection, and hence the word understanding being very important to this. That, man, you really need to make that connection that there's such a thing called time.
Yes.
And there is right timing. You might not be in control of the right timing.
Yeah.
But you need to be humble about it. So don't rush. Don't bite too much.
Yes.
Don't take life too quickly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, don't be too pressured to. No, just until it feels right. It feels right.
That's it. Yeah. You have to be in tune with yourself.
It
always feels right, like, no, it was supposed to happen at this time.
Exactly.
And everything just falls into place perfectly.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's scripted. And then that's when I look up, I'm like, okay, God, I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
I'll be patient next time.
I'm sorry.
I was rushing things over here. Yeah, this is. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. Loved it. I feel like we should just continue. It should be like a part 2.
there should be a part 2.
Amazing guest.
All right, thank you.
Love the floor. Everything is just.
Well, it takes one to know the other. You're an amazing host.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
There we go.
There we go.
The dream team. Yeah. Drink your water. Hydrate. It's important. Yeah. So, I mean, can I ask a question?
Sure.
How long has self-worth redefined you? How long is it now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, 3 years.
3 years.
It's gonna be 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when's the birthday? When are we celebrating?
Yeah, I will definitely let you know on that. But it should be actually this year.
Okay.
Because shout out to, I'm clapping, basically thanking my mentor.
Okay.
Who pushed me into this.
Wow.
And I was working in a cooperative company.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but he pushed me into this direction.
Because there's so much potential in it, yeah.
I think
I'm glad they saw that.
You know, those people, like, you know?
Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I get that question oftentimes, like, I appreciate the concern, but the reason why we are doing certain things is to keep the machine going. God likes to pay, God knows to pay and all that. But when someone tells you that, they're like, reminding you, oh my God, put your best foot forward on this thing.
Yes.
And you'll thank me later.
Imagine that. He's been such a support system since. So I believe some people are just meant to be in your part for a reason. So that's why I'm always thanking him, because he saw something which at the time I couldn't, but it was in me. But having the eye to see and recognize.
That takes a certain skill. That takes a certain person. That even takes a certain level of confidence. Because there are people who see something that instead of it being, for instance, a plant that you can take care of, they're already concerned about how the plant will grow so big and make them look like. They're already concerned about the threat aspect. Because they've seen, man, you have a whole universe and it's about to explode, and I don't want it to explode on me. Because maybe that feels like a threat. They'll probably go after your job or something. So that's why I use the word confidence. That person is so confident in their role in your life. They're willing to be the bridge. And that doesn't come as something they're looking it down on or feeling a little bit demeaned by it.
Ever.
Exactly. And that's what I always feel like makes a hallmark of a good leader. That must be a leader back where you used to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful. And they still challenge me today. Not that much, but like, And every time they
But they're around, that's
they're
good.
around. Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah.
Every time they just come up with something and I just kind of like follow on that advice, it just magically works better than I imagined. And I'm like, who are you? Are you really human?
Can I ask out of curiosity?
Sure.
Obviously your self-worth was redefined after that, right?
Hey.
Whose idea was it for the name of the podcast? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. So
it really awoke something in you.
A lot in me. We
should have a podcast of you talking about this podcast and now it ended up here. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. You know where to find
me. Like definitely.
Yeah.
I should definitely have a podcast talking about this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's very interesting.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Yeah.
Allow me.
A Jay-Z moment. You know that song about it? That's for him. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hope. Anyway, this is my music podcast and we're just wrapping up.
You're wrapping up, guys.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much for having me.
It has been amazing. Thank you. Anytime. I want you to come again.
Of course, maybe a frequent over here.
Definitely.
I like this place. I already connected with talks.
Yeah.
And the whole space itself is very reminiscent of.
Right?
Yeah.
Very peaceful.
I like it.
Yes.
It brings out the. Let's say what? Like. For you to be the best version, the environment must support that person. So I feel like the environment is supporting that and it's supported the.
You're always doing bars everywhere.
That's
every
right.
time.
Watch out for the next
I'm telling
album.
you guys. Like we're just chilling, having coffee. It's just like
they're just flowing. We should probably just save the good stuff for the next one, right?
Yes, guys. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for kind of tuning in. Remember to subscribe and share this video, Self-Worth Redefined podcast.
Yeah.
Before we wind up on this beautiful, amazing day, Any last words?
Any last words?
Yeah.
Guys, go wherever you get your music, listen to Wide Load. Type 2 words, Wide Load, wherever you get your music from. Spotify, Apple, Boomplay, Deezer, and recently on Amazon Music. Yeah, right there. Right up there.
Yeah.
If you have that Prime account, yeah, right up there. Just type Wide Load and be part of the 9-song experience that I call an album. That is about my life and much more. And let me know what your favorite track is. H is the name. You know what's happening. Till we meet again.
Yeah, and Mirage is my favorite. Guys, listen to his music. Very empowering, very motivating. It's just like you have to kind of put your stuff together and start living your best life. I'm telling you. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on Self-Worth Redefined podcast. It was about empowering, uplifting y'all's mind, also redefining your worth, and also now redefining the African and the African mind. But it has been amazing. It's been a lovely return. Remember, as I always say, you are the change you need to see in the world. Take care. Much love.